Is there some way I can do this without leaving the window or not? Does anybody know if there's a way I can pull up my game history? Oh, is it archive? Yeah, it's archive. Okay. Okay, so this is the last game that I lost, or whoops, sorry. Wait, wait, sorry. 1 second. Let me pull up the archive. This is the last game that I lost. So now it should show correctly. Is it showing correctly in the window or not? It looks weird. Why does the board looks weird? But anyway, it's, yeah, okay, 1 second, you guys, 1 second. Let me move the speed text down. Chessboard, let me unlock this. Yeah, okay. Whoa, thank you, Stewie Griffin, for rating with a party of 29. Thank you, Tortuga Chess, for rating with a party of 24. Thank you so much to both of you guys for the raid. The board looks okay, right? Board looks about right now, doesn't it? Or, wait, let me cut this off. I don't want to see evals. Okay. Does that look good, you guys? Does that look good? Let me see. Does that look good? Yeah, it looks good. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Servant of One, for the 500 bits. Okay, so this was the last game I lost, so I know for sure there was a ridiculous mistake that I made in this game. So, okay, so let's look at this game. Let's okay, it's nothing. The opening, whatever. None of the middle game matters at all. I hate that there's a stupid computer eval on my screen on the left-hand side. How do I turn that stupid thing off? I don't want to see any evals. Anyway, okay, so the point is we reach this position. Let me just keep going. We reach this position, not quite yet, where we reach this position. Okay, so in this position, the reason that we both have about 3 seconds left here. Okay, so when I play king f5, king f5 here, I'm obviously going to be holding. I wonder for bullet I should actually have a mouse capture, but basically what I'm going to be doing is, so when you see the mouse, I'm going to be holding down a right click. So I'm going to grab the rook and like right click, hovering over the square, because I don't want to drop it here, basically. But I'm going to be hovering over a square, and if I pre-move here, you think about the position logically, there are only a handful of moves that black can play. Black can play like king f7, king g7, or something like rook a6. So rook e6 makes sense from the probability standpoint of rook a6 being played, but realistically in this position, black has 2 seconds left. You're not going to go for the long move where you have to move it further away. Like moving rook a6 or rook d1 is going to take longer than moving your king to f7 or g7. So from a probability standpoint, rook e6 here is just a very bad pre-move, because the odds of him putting his king on f7 g7 here are very close to 50%. The odds of him swinging a rook to like a6 or h6 or d1, it takes more torque in the mouse. You know, maybe torque is the wrong word, but it takes more flow. You need more you need more string to make the rook go further down the board. So like basically the odds of king f7 or king g7 here are around, like, probably, I would say the odds are probably around 45% on king f7 and 45% on king g7, and around 10% on like rook d1 or rook a6. A little flick of the wrist, flick it. Anyway, but the point is king f7 or king g7 are basically the only two moves that a good player is going to play here. Or there's like 10% of, you swing the rook to another square. But the problem is, because the odds are so high of king f7 or king g7, if I'm going to actually make an insta pre-move here, it should be rook e4 or it should be rook e1. It should not be king f7 or g7. Yeah, but it should not be rook e6, because king f7, like, if you think about it here, like, obviously here black can't really easily pre-move because I can put my rook on almost any square. And so, like, by playing rook e6, if he has more than like 0.5 here, then he's obviously going to take. But Hikaru, all this you have to think about in 1 second. That's why that's only odds thinking for Hikaru. Well, but I mean, I'm just trying to explain to you how you're supposed to approach bullet at a very high, very deep, a deep conceptual level. Even if you have 2 seconds on the clock, you still should be thinking in 0.1, 0.2 terms of, the possibilities and what your opponent will do. So rook e6 is just a very minus EV move, because also if you have 2 seconds here in a time scramble, once he takes, you're just cooked. Like, there's no way that you can make moves, because black can just put the rook on any different square. You can't really move your king around. It only falls to king f7, but king f7 is the most likely move in the position. So that's why, like, that's why it's a very bad pre-move here by me. So it's very bad. It's very, very bad, because king f7 and king g7 are the only two moves that a human's going to play here. And if you can't think about it in 0.1 seconds, well, I mean, what can I say? You should be able to. Thank you, BA Savage, for the tier 1 sub. I'm obviously joking on that part, you guys, but it's a very poor pre-move, because king f7 is the most natural, most human move, and it's the best move that a good human player is going to play as well. So really, in this position, when I reach this position, I should only pre-move rook e4 or like rook e1. Those are the only two pre-moves that you should pre-move here. And rook e4 actually is probably not, if I had more time and I was going to do this in this game again, I would pre-move rook e4, because rook e4 is a very safe move. There are no moves where black can win the rook on d4 here. So yeah, rook e4, actually, when you think about it, rook e4 is the best pre-move in the position. Rook e4, without a doubt, with 2 seconds left, the way you should do, the way I would play this, if I could rewind it, is yes, it is a Philidor position. Of course, it's a draw in classical chess, but this is bullet chess, where the position doesn't mean anything, you guys. So basically, the point here, no, you didn't miss the stream, you did not miss the stream. I will be continuing very shortly. Cole could spin. I'm just taking a short break and explaining a few things. Okay. Oh, whoops, I just turned off the evaluation. That changed the board. 1 second. Sorry, you guys, let me readjust this. 1 second. Sorry, that just changed it very slightly. Does that look good? I mean, I can't tell for sure. That looks pretty good though, so I'll lock it again. Okay. So yeah, so it doesn't really matter, it's Philidor, but the point here is that in this position, if I could redo this the way I would do this, the two pre-moves I would make here would be, I'd be playing rook e4. So on king f7, I would have pre-moved rook e4, and I would pre-move king g4. Now, if this is really deep and you could redo this, Jordan might think rook g6 instantly. Thank you, Solifer, for the Twitch Prime sub, because king g4 is a very safe move. You presume black is going to check on d5 or f6. So if black is going to check on d5 or f6 here, king g4 is obviously going to be played, because it's a legal move, and then black has to come up with another move. Now, if you assume it's 100% rook f6, king e5 is playable, but on rook d5, you have the king e5 pre-move, you just lose here. So that's why in this position, if I could redo it, I would insta-play rook e4 here, because there's no pre-move where I lose the rook. Even rook d4, if we trade, I still have 2 seconds, I can't lose. So rook e4 is the one safe pre-move in the position. And after king f7, rook e4, I'd insta pre-move king g4, because realistically, as a human with like 1 or 2 seconds, you're obviously going to throw in a check. If you're really sneaky, you're going to play rook g6 or rook e6, but odds are you're going to play rook you're going to play rook f6 as a human. So odds are rook f6 because it's a check. Your opponent has to think or move the king. So it's the very natural pre-move. Probably a good chess player, an IM or higher, 90% or more, they're going to play rook f6 here, or rook d5. So king g4 is the obvious safe pre-move. And if they're good enough to play rook d4, so be it. But realistically, you have to think about the probabilities and what's most likely, even if it's 0.1 or 0.5 seconds. So this is one example of a very bad mistake that I made here. Now I think there was was it this game? Let's pull this game up. Was it this game? Yes, it was this game. So this game was another one. There was a really bad mistake. Okay, so we just keep going. Obviously, I played a terrible game. I'm just losing. Now you'll notice in this position, what Joppy made the mistake of doing here in this game is, we'll start at this point because there were a lot of mistakes here in this game. Mistakes, by mistakes, I mean like very technical, deep, conceptual mistakes by both of us. But the first mistake here by Joppy was that when he played knight f5, he should have presumed I'm going king g6, and he should play knight e7. So the way Joppy should evaluate the position, obviously White's trying to win, but this is a bullet. This is not regular chess, so you don't really care if you play a good move or you play just a garbage move. But basically, you know I'm not going to go king h7 because you should see rook b6. But after king g, but the thing is, so when I'm thinking in the 0.2, 0.3, however long I used to move here, basically, I lost 7 times. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, I lost 6 games. Yes, because actually I'm playing good players, you guys. I'm not playing 2400s. I mean, I could be boring and play 2400s and pick up 1 point every game and get to 3000, but that's not really in the spirit of it. And that's just not in the spirit. Yeah, I've played 2 GMs mainly. One guy was very strong, definitely significantly underrated, so I lost him 3 times. I lost 3 times to Jordan as well, I believe, or maybe, yeah, I think it was 3 to Jordan as well. But basically, so if we look at this game, or no, I lost 4 to Jordan, so I lost 2 to the other guy and 4 to Jordan. So the point is here in this game, when he plays knight f5, he should instantly be thinking in that 0.5 1 second, whatever it is, that like, I'm obviously not going to the back rank. I'm not going to h7. You obviously see rook b6 right away. I'm hitting the knight, so you know I'm going to go king g6, and you should insta check on e7 here, because it's a little tickle and you're going to gain time. So like, I'm obviously hovering with pieces, but it's a tickle, and I'm gonna have to lose like 1 second to play king g7 here. So this was a mistake by Jordan. He should have played knight e7 check. So knight e3, knight e7. Now I played knight d7, try to activate the knight here. Also, again, it's a very tricky move in bullet, because I'm trying to cut off these tricks with like rook checks, trying to cut out these little tickles with all these random rook checks, if I can. So he plays rook d4, knight e5, rook d6, completely fine, f6, completely fine, rook d5, I mean, not the best move, but completely fine. We're both low on time. Rook d3, all pretty normal. So Jordan played, oh, actually, you know, during the game I didn't realize this. I hung the rook. I didn't realize this during the game. I hung the rook. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I didn't realize that I hung the rook. In fact, if you play it back, you'll notice I didn't realize the rook was hanging either. Oh, okay, anyway, okay, we both missed that evidently. How bizarre, how bizarre. So okay, so first thing in this position, you'll notice here during the game I pre-moved to hg4, because if white doesn't take the knight, the pre-move won't occur. So it's a good pre-move to make, first of all, because if white takes, you take. If white moves somewhere else, you don't do it. So the deep meta here is when you play this move, you pre-move hg4, but then you hold a second pre-move on the board. So like, you have the pre-move, but you right click with your mouse and you hold like rook c2. You hold the rook over c2, and you make sure not to let it drop until white moves. So this way you get sort of a quasi, like, you know, you get 1.5 pre-moves in the position. So obviously in order to do this, you need to pre-move instantly, and you know, point 1, you need to have the hg4 pre-move, and then you need to instantly grab the rook and hold like rook c2 at the pre-move as well. So that's the first thing you do, is you have the pre-move, then you hold the rook over c2, or you hover the rook over c3, one or the other. So Jordan played knight d5. I don't know if I actually did the hover technique with a couple seconds. I think I did, but I'm not sure. So king g1. How do you pre-move? You just make the move on the board. So you just go like, you right click. So you right click with the h pawn. You right click h pawn. And you right click on g4. So in this position, you just click. You right click the mouse. Or no, sorry. You just left click. You use left click button on the mouse. You see I'm holding here, and you click the pawn and you click g4. So yeah, so here you, or actually I can't, oh sorry, I seemingly can't make the pre-move in analysis. Ivan Drevin, I don't know what the question was. Can you repeat what the question was? Can you just write it in chat? Sorry. It's actually a little bit hard because I'm having to make the OBS window very small, so I don't see the chat extremely well. Can you cancel a pre-move? I think you can, yes, but you can, no, pre-moves are enabled for sure. Yeah, pre-moves are enabled, you guys, but it's analysis, so I can't make a pre-move. But yeah, you basically, you left click the h pawn, and you left click on g4, and that will make the pre-move. And if it doesn't happen, then the move, it just doesn't occur. So you want to make what I call safe pre-moves as much as you can, where like, if the move doesn't happen, then you're not at risk. So like, a bad pre-move here actually would be rook c2. Rook c2, for example, is a very bad pre-move, which is why you use the hover here, because rook c2 is a very bad pre-move, because there's no guarantee he's going to move the knight here. He could also just be like, okay, I'm going to play b4, or, you know, another logical move is rook f3. White doesn't have that many moves in the position. You've got like 1 2 3, you've got 1 2 3, and maybe knight d5 or knight c4. So you've got like 5 pre-moves, or not 5 pre-moves, 5 moves for white here. So you have 5 moves that white can realistically play. A good player is not going to move the king. So you've got like 5 to 6 moves that white realistically can play here. But rook c2, if white doesn't move the knight, you're just cooked, because if you lose the rook, time I think was about even here. So with time being about even, if I lose the rook, I'm just cooked like a goose and I lose because white can just move the rook and check me like he did in the other game. So rook c2 would be a very dangerous pre-move, because if you look at the position, there's 1, there's 2. Now if he moves the rook to after h3, rook c2 is going to hang the rook. If he moves the knight to d5 or c4, then rook c2 is a great pre-move. But when you see the possible moves here, you're looking at 2 out of 4 realistic moves here, where I'm going to lose the rook on c2. So it's a 2 out of 4 probability, but it's 2 out of 4. But if I drop rook c2 and white takes the rook, I'm going to lose 100% of the time. New player, I'm 16. Is there any good book for lower either players, like 11 to 1300? Let me think about it for 1 second. Why am I explaining this? Because I want you guys to understand the deep meta behind playing very, very good bullet shots. That it's not just about, you know, it's not just about running your opponent over on time. You have to be using your brain at the same time, even when you have 2 seconds in the game. So that's why I'm showing you guys, because I feel like it's not really understood enough how hard it is to be really, really good at bullet. But yeah, so the probability, like, they're 4, I mean, knight f1, maybe. A good player is not going to move the king here. That's just not, it's not natural. They're not going to do that. So, like, you're looking at, like, actually, knight g4 is a playable move. So you're looking at a 2 out of 5. So there's a 40% probability that that white's not going to move the knight. So if white doesn't move the knight here, you're 40% of the time you're going to hang the rook on c2. But out of that 40% that you hang the rook on c2, you're going to lose 100% of the time. So it's just a very bad pre-move here to make, which is why the correct way to do it with precise moves is to is to pre-move h takes g4, but then hover over c2 with the rook. And that's how you that would be the precise technique here. That would be perfect play in bullet here. So anyway, the game goes on, though we still have one more thing to go on with. So okay, so this has occurred. So again, this is dangerous for white too, because now I can throw in the tickle, and you can't really pre-move king g2, because again, I could always play rook d2, I could move my king, I could play f4. So like, it's very tricky here. Thank you Deep Fray Dre for the $10. Thanks for the high level meta enlightening to us plebs. Thank you so much. So the thing is here, this is actually one of the most unpleasant scenarios you can have in bullet, where you end up with like your king where you've only got like 3 ranks and you don't have like endless squares where you can just like run the king up the board, because you're at a disadvantage, because here I can always throw in the check. I can also just play rook b2 to take advantage of your pre-move, and then it's like, oh, I pre-move king g2 but I can't do it, and then you throw rook b1. So like a deep meta play here, one thing you can do is to play rook b2 to play for rook b1 or rook b2. So what I would do, maybe not in this game I didn't do it, but sometimes I would do it, is I would play like rook d3, and then I would wait. I'd throw in rook a2, and then I'd make the rook a1 pre-move here, because they're going to be expecting the rook b1. They're going to be expecting rook b1, so they make the king g2 pre-move, but I go rook a2. I laugh at you, and then I throw in rook a1 when you're not expecting the king g2. So you essentially have to waste, like, you basically in this position have to be thinking really far ahead, and pre-moving king g2 like here. And then when I play rook a2, you still have to have the king g2 hover while getting ready to move another piece. So it's very, very hard to do that. But in this game, I use the other technique here, which is that basically I threw in the tickle. Or no, I didn't throw in the tickle with rook c2. Actually, during the game, I didn't realize that rook c2, king f3, rook a2 is mate, rook f2 is mate. I would have thrown in the tickle, but here he played this, so he got ready for the rook c2 pre-move. He got ready for the second tickle here with rook c2, king g1. But then I tricked him with rook c5 because I knew that he was going to be expecting me to check him here. So I threw in the little tickle, and then on the second time I tricked him with rook c5. Now I could have also, of course, just played it like this as well, which would have worked. But basically, yeah, very often if you can, you want to like throw in a tickle in bullet where you like do a 2-move repeat, and then you play something different that attacks a piece if you can. It's a very, very useful technique to use deep in the game when you're both very low on time. So he pre-moved king g1, so then I took, and then he made the big mistake, which is here he played rook d3, which it's a mistake for a couple reasons, but one reason in particular. Yes, beep beep beep. This will be on YouTube. He played rook d3, which is a huge mistake here, because in this position, look at my rook and all my pieces. So in this position, the safe pre-move that I'm going to play is rook d1. There's rook d1 is a safe pre-move because they're like white plays rook c3, I play rook d1. There's no way to stop rook d1. Like, you know, let's just give an example. If say the position was like this, rook d1 is a dangerous pre-move because white can play rook g1 to cut it off. So rook d1 is not a completely safe pre-move here. Obviously in the game, maybe in the 0.2 seconds I'll realize I have a knight f2 fork, so it still is a safe pre-move because rook g1 rook d1 takes knight f2. I still win the rook and win the game, but it's not a safe pre-move, whereas here rook d1 is a safe pre-move. It's a check. White's gonna have to move the king, and there's no way to prevent it. So rook d1 is a safe pre-move, so I'll play like rook d1 and then I can play any pre-move, because what should happen here is white should play rook c3. I'll play rook d1 and then I'll tickle him with rook d2, and then I'll play like wherever he moves, I drop the rook to d6 to stop rook c6, so no check. And I can even play rook f6 safe move, or if I'm expecting rook c6 I wait to take. But even rook f6 is a safe pre-move because white can do nothing to win the rook here. So this is the correct way to play, but by playing rook d3 he cuts off the safe move and he forced me to have to think, and in this position I still had like, I think I still had like 5 or 6 seconds. So like I'm obviously going to take, and when I take on d3 he loses 100% of the time. So the Firouzja technique is the correct technique here would be to play rook c3, and let's just say I play rook d6 would be to play rook c6. This would be the correct Firouzja technique because I'm never playing rook c6, so it's not really a he's gambling that I probably played f4. Yeah, but I mean I never play f4 because you want to play the safe move here. You want to play the safe move. You know, rook d1 is a safe pre-move here. f4 is not a safe pre-move at all. So you want to play rook d1 because it's a safe pre-move. So like this is just a very bad move because it cuts off the safe pre-move where I have to just take the rook. Now to show the correct way to use this technique, thank you Drew W3 for the 2-month resub. Correct way to do this would be to play in this position would be to play rook c6, because you'll notice that here you'll notice that in this position I'm never playing rook c6. Rook a6 is a very strange, rook a6 and rook b6 are not natural human pre-moves here. Yeah, Firouzja and Daniel use this technique very frequently. They like to sack the rook, but the thing is in this position I'm never putting the rook on this file, so it's never going to cut off a safe pre-move here. Like, you know, if I was going to play rook a6, it's brilliant because if I'm playing rook a6, rook c6 cuts off the pre-move, so I have to take. But and yeah, actually you're right, because the rook is also pinned, so I have to take. So this is the correct way to try and do it, because rook a6 is not a move that I'm going to play, and it's also rook a6 or rook b6 make no sense. If you're going to try and trick me here, you want to play rook c6. Although actually here it's really bad because the king's on g6. So, you know, in a perfect world, what you want to do is you want to have like this position you want to throw it in, because it doesn't pin the rook to my king, so I'm not forced to have to take the rook. So that would be the precise way to try and use the technique. Because even here, rook d3 is back, so I still might throw in the tickle with rook d2. So that would be the correct way, but it still would be losing. So all right, you guys, on that note, I think we're gonna get back to playing some chess. So let's make sure the board is correct. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you understood some of it, at least. Maybe not all of it, but at least you guys learned something from that. So yeah, so okay, the board looks good again. Let's lock the board. Let's get ready to run the clock. Yeah, so we're gonna get rolling. Just let me have a sip of water. That should be a solo YouTube video. Yeah, it's not so hard. It's like playing Fortnite, and like prepping, not prepping, sorry, but it's like Fortnite, and you put down an X, and then you hit F4, and then you hit an X to box yourself in a 1x1. It's the same thing. It's just you basically have to, except in chess it's using the mouse in conjunction with pre-moves, safe pre-moves, and trying to trick your opponent. In Fortnite, basically you have to be preparing for your opponent basically shooting into your build, or it's just with your hands instead of using the mouse. So it's the same concept, same thing, exact same thing, just mouse versus keyboard. My copy is in this cup, you guys. So okay, yeah, it's just like Fortnite. It's the exact same thing. It's just Fortnite you're using keys, and in chess you're using the mouse. You're using the mouse in conjunction with anticipation and pre-moves, and sort of relying on what your opponent will do. And in Fortnite it's the same thing, exact same thing. You're just using a keyboard, exact same thing. So chess is Fortnite. Chess is not Fortnite. Bullet is like Fortnite. So okay, you guys, in a second we will get the clock running. Let me pull up the clock again. Let me make sure that my windows are not too crowded. Okay, the clock looks good. Oh, it's right at 5:34. That's a nice little moment to stop at. Okay, so okay, let's how do I start it? 1 second. Controls and resume. So let's go. Or actually, let's click bullet